Good morning. My name is Erica Kay-Webster. I'm most commonly known as Erica Kay, the author of Bound Between Love. This book is a historical journey of my life as a transgender woman, surviving for 44 years in my female role. I am one of the first transgenders to have undergone sexual reassignment surgery in the United States, and the youngest to have undergone this surgery at 17 years. During the earliest years of my life, as a teenager in New York, one of the children who had been thrown away, I survived on the streets in homelessness and despair. I went hungry. I starved sometimes for weeks on end with just a few scraps to eat. I'm one of the few remaining survivors of the Stonewall Inn, the riots that took place there. I have gone through countless years of discrimination after my story was emblazoned across the tabloids, revealing the fact that I was a transgender woman after many years of success in the corporate world. Today, I'm determined to give back to my community by donating a large amount of the proceeds of my book and the upcoming feature film to this cause. This 501c nonprofit foundation is being formed to create educational materials on the transgender birth condition and to advocate human rights legislation in every country on earth. Every year around the world, transgenders are being brutally murdered because they were born outside the confines of what many people consider to be a normal gender role. Today, through medical science, we know that transgenders are born with a genetic birth condition, which is as normal as a typical male or female. Young children of 3, 4, 5, and 6 years old are proclaiming their true genders in homes that are open, loving, and accepting. These families seek the proper medical diagnosis and medical care to assist their children in living a normal life. Unfortunately, this is not the case for most transgender children who are faced with living their young lives in roles that do not define their own authentic selves. When they do speak about their condition, they are beaten, bullied, humiliated, and forced into reparative therapy, or they're thrown away by their own families. When these young teenagers are faced with suddenly having to fend for themselves on the streets for basic survival, many turn to suicide or the sex trade. I myself personally experienced 2 suicide attempts in the very early years of my life. And in my homeless despair on the streets of New York, I turned to the sex trade to survive, just for a meal. These young teenagers drop out of school and put themselves at great risk every day just to stay alive. In the sex trade, they face the dangers of being beaten, shot, or being stabbed to death, in addition to the possibility of contracting HIV and AIDS. Today, the transgender community is at the highest risk for contracting HIV and AIDS. One of our main goals through the foundation is to provide safe housing, which will foster a positive and loving home environment, to provide trans-specific counseling, medical care, appropriate clothing, education, and a healthy life so that our thrown-away youth can have the same opportunities of pursuing their dreams that most other Americans already have. Through our foundation, we will continue to advocate for true and complete human rights legislation in the United States. Then we will take our quest around the world to fight for human rights and to educate governments about the transgender birth condition. We need your help. Will you consider donating to our foundation so that our vision can fully come into existence and save the lives of our youth and prevent the brutal murders around the world? We are seeking an attorney who will donate his or her services to set up our foundation. If necessary, we will hire an attorney. In phase 1 of our fundraising efforts, we are seeking small donations, which may not be tax deductible until the foundation is created as a legal entity. Funds donated in phase 1 will be used to set up the 501c3 foundation and to hire graphic designers to create educational materials and a website. It will also help us in procuring our first safe home environment for transgender youth. As soon as possible, once the foundation is functioning as a legal entity, we will proceed with phase 2 of our fundraising efforts so that we can implement fully the goals of the Foundation for International Justice. Fundraising will then continue as an ongoing effort so that we can fund the Foundation's work both in the United States and around the world. In phase 2, we will seek tax-deductible financial contributions of any size, and we will also be seeking people who will volunteer their services to support the ongoing work of the Foundation for International Justice. Thank you, and once again, we need your help. Will you help us save the lives of our young transgender youth and help stop the brutal murders of transgenders around the world?